Hello and welcome back to Spiritually Speaking with Skyla, and I have Danielle back again, which is amazing because I haven't seen her in so long, and I was like, oh, I'm in town, come back.
Yeah,
come back.
And then I was out of town for like a whole
I know,
week.
so it didn't work.
And we just literally are always busy, but
just going back
here
and
we
forth,
are.
but I'm always so happy to see you and like catch up with you, and last night I was like going through the topics and stuff, and I was like, oh, I'm so excited to see her and just like feel your energy and see your eyeballs, you know, like just to
I
see
agree
your presence.
so
It's
much.
so nice.
And I was just with my best friend Shari in LA, and I was telling her, because we've been talking about, you know, doing some content together and stuff too. We've been talking about it for years, and we just never have actually
That's
done
how
it.
we started doing the podcast together.
Literally.
Because you guys were doing it together, and you guys had started something, and then I was like, wait, I want to start a podcast. Will you be on my podcast? And you were my first guest. Like, that's how I started my podcast, was you, because you had that idea with her. So
Yeah.
thank you, Shari.
Yeah, exactly. Shari and I have been talking about it for way too long and just never actually commit to the bit. But I was telling her like how important it is for us to do things like this and how fulfilling it feels for me afterwards.
Yeah.
Like the way I feel after we podcast, I don't feel many other times in my life like how much purpose it gives me, like how full my cup is after. Like,
Yeah, I feel like I have like a whole level of spiritual growth that happens during a podcast episode. I don't know why, if it's like the fact like of filming or like that I know it's going out, because like I don't like, even if it's reaching one person, like even if one single person, because I don't have that many views yet or anything like that. Obviously I'm trying to grow my channel, but like even if it affects one person and changes one person's mindset and makes them feel more connected to God and more connected to the universe, like that's enough. Like that's all I really
and I
care
totally
about.
agree. And honestly, even just like what you said, like how it changes your perspective or changes your mind about something, it's like that's honestly just enough of a reason to do
Yeah, because
it.
I
to
feel
be
like
honest,
we go
like,
in it in topics where it's like we don't really have to know the answer to the topic, but we kind of go through like how we feel in the episode. Like I come up with questions and topics and stuff like that, and I have like an idea of what I'm gonna say, but most of the time a lot of other stuff comes out that I'm like, oh, I didn't plan for that. But I also like pray to God before my podcast episodes and stuff that it's like, hey, if there's a message that somebody needs to hear, use me. Like I will be a vessel to spread your message. Like I want to have guidance from you, not just what goes on in my brain.
and that's so important. I think, you know, a lot of people, even not obviously, most people aren't just sitting down recording podcasts all the time or like, you know, are making content about God or whatever the case may be. But just in general, like if you're having an argument with someone, if you're feeling conflicted about walking into a room or speaking about anything, anytime, ever in life, like I always do that. Like I always am like, God, I don't know what I need to say or what I want to say, but like, please just speak through
guide
me.
Speak like through me. And you can feel it actually, because like you hear these words coming out of your mouth, but you know it's not your conditioning, and you know it's not like a rehearsed response that you've made, and you can actually feel God speaking through you, because you're like, wait a second, Skyla doesn't have this level of patience.
Well, it's
like Skyla doesn't know how to say these things, but like for some reason I'm like embodied by this energy because I'm choosing to be open to it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like reaching a flow state. You know, like when you, like when people have an art that they perform, or like if they're a singer or whatever, you know what I mean? A lot of people will say, you know, sometimes when I'm performing, I don't even like feel like I'm in my body. Like it just
I've
like
heard that a lot, actually.
Yeah. So it's like, I think, you know, and like for us, obviously we love talking about stuff like this, and so we get into like a flow state, and it just like comes, like pours through us.
Yeah, it's my favorite
like,
topic. It's the only topic I can never get bored of talking about, because there's so much going on. And that actually brings us into our first topic, which is spiritual ego, which I am so excited to talk about this topic, because like, so what spiritual ego kind of means is like, are we trying to make spirituality another thing to just be good at? Like, what even is spirituality? What does spirituality mean to like be connected to God? Like, it doesn't always mean that you have to be meditating, you have to be on this strict like schedule to be accepted and to feel like you're doing a good job at being spiritual. Like a lot of the time I think spirituality is failing, and it doesn't look pretty, and it doesn't look like something that you want to share with people. But like that's
1000%.
the most spiritual experience, is like the deep, raw, gritty stuff that you wouldn't necessarily try to like show people, oh hey, like this is the version of me that I'm presenting to you. Like that's scary to fail, but like that's, I think, what spirituality is about, is failing and like having the most experiences you can have. And like that's why we're here, is to keep trying and doing new things and having new experiences.
Well, you can't like learn in life and like get better at something if you don't fail. And if you aren't raw and honest with yourself about how you're feeling or how, you know, it's affecting you or, you know, whatever, you have to be real with you about like how things are affecting you, you know? And a lot of people, like you said, put on this mask, this is how they present themselves to the world. And then they get so caught up in putting on this identity that like, they don't remember exactly who they are, where they're trying to go, or like, you know, where that path is trying to lead them. And so like, I think it's so important just to like do instead of like worrying about how other people are perceiving it or how God's perceiving it even. I mean, of course you want to be as close as you can to like being accepted by him and being loved by him. Like if you have a connection with God, you know how important that connection is.
And you feel when you do something out of alignment.
Exactly.
And you feel when you are in alignment and when you're on the right path.
But like what you're saying, it's so important to be out of alignment sometimes so that you can know how to course correct and like how to get back to center, because no one's perfect all the time and God does not expect us to be perfect all the time. He created us exactly the way that he wants us to be, you know? And so we have to give ourselves a lot of grace and a lot of grace
and understanding, and it's really hard sometimes.
It's really hard because you feel like, especially like, you know, us doing this and we're putting it out into the world. And so now, you know, if people watch this and see this and based on what we've talked about, maybe they would expect us to have like, you know, a higher level of being or like a higher level of authority or like, you know.
Or some type of lesson plan or something that's like concrete or structure.
Yeah.
But like, no, I don't have that. I'm just doing this and putting this out there because I feel called to do that. There's no other reason. I don't have a formula. I don't have an answer. I'm just putting it out there and God will do the rest.
And that is so important to do. And like, I was literally just having this conversation when I was talking to Shari about this because I'm like, you know, sometimes I think I just get in my head and I don't make content because I feel like I'm not ready or like...
there's never a better time. Like, it's never going to be easier to have the conversation. It's never going to be easier to start. That was what was hard for me, was starting. Like, that was like the biggest thing that was so scary because it's like, how do you start? How do you start something? But just start. Even if it's weird, even if it's wrong, even if it changes completely later. Like, just starting and...
you have to fail.
Momentum, like you have to start.
Yeah.
Even though it's very scary. I have a big problem with starting things because then it's like, oh, well, then I have to like finish it. I have to, you know, stay consistent with it. And I feel like recently I've been having like a little like trouble trying to like get, like I am a spiritual person always, but like getting back into kind of like a routine of being spiritual. And that's why I feel like this topic like resonated so well with me because like, is it something that I'm trying to be good at? I understand I have this podcast and like I am portraying myself as a spiritual person, which I am, but like it's not always easy to be spiritual. And like I was getting upset at myself for like not meditating and not doing like, because I used to have a routine where I would wake up and I would journal and I would meditate, and that was like the beginning of my morning, and I felt like connected basically every day. And then that just fell off. And I was traveling recently. I was out of the country. I was in Europe, and I was in China, and I was in Korea. And there was just so many different time zones. And the last, like, 2 weeks I've been home, I've been struggling so hard to, like, feel like I'm in my spiritual journey. Like, I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing because I haven't been meditating and I haven't been doing what I normally do. But then, recently, the last 7 days, I randomly started this thing where it's like I saw this and I was like, you know, I'm going to try that. And you write every night before you go to bed, you write 7 things you're grateful for and then 1 thing you want to manifest about yourself.
Yes, I've seen this.
Yeah.
It's like a trend right now. I've seen this
and so
too.
I started doing that, and it's only been 7 days, and I feel completely back in alignment. Not meditating, not doing any type of things, but being like aware of my gratitude every night. And then these manifestations are not like, you know, it's more like I speak truth and I, you know, want to, I'm a vessel for God to speak through me and stuff like that. Like manifestations that don't interfere with other people's lives. It has to be about you, something you want to embody, patience, you know, whatever it is, like it's a manifestation about you.
Yeah.
And your life.
And like, I just think It's really important what you just said, because how you show up in your relationship with God is going to look different on a
All the
daily
time.
basis,
And I
on a
was
weekly
judging
basis.
myself, and I was like, you know, am I not doing this spiritual path anymore? But it turns out the path just changes, and you go
it looks
on different
different
roads.
sometimes.
And,
Yeah. Like, it's not always going to be exactly the same. And the fact that you know, noticed it and then course corrected, and like, even though it's not the same exact course you were on before, but you course corrected and now you feel more in alignment, it's like, that's what life is really all about, and spirituality is really all about. Like you're saying, we don't want to have egos and be like, oh, I'm not good enough at this.
Yeah, I'm not good enough at spirituality, be doing it and talking about it. Like, that, how could I judge myself like that? Like, that's such a harsh judgment to make about myself.
But I do the same thing.
But I was doing it for
I do
weeks
the same
and
thing.
weeks and weeks.
And like, that's exactly what we were talking about as well, is like, it is scary sometimes, because you do almost like put yourself in a position to like be a role model by speaking about these things and by putting it online and like doing this topic of conversation. Like, you are kind of putting yourself in a position where people may look up to you in some type of way, because what you're saying resonates with them, it helps them, you know, whatever it may be. But then it's like, damn, am I worthy of being this?
Yeah, am I worthy of being this person? But I don't think anybody is worthy or not worthy. And like, I personally have made an agreement with God that I'm going to use myself as a guinea pig to make mistakes and share them with people.
Yeah.
And show people how I did my stuff, and apparently that's supposed to be what I'm doing, because I spoke about that in my last episode, that I got confirmation from 3 different sources that this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, is speaking out about my experiences, and the way that I got through things is supposed to help people go through things. And none of the 3 people had any context on anything and said the same exact thing, and that's always how I felt, and that was the calling that I had. And so the fact that I got 3 different confirmations from that, like, yeah, it's scary, and I'm sure some people don't like what I have to say, but some people do, and it does resonate with some people, so I'm going to keep doing it.
Well, it's like you said, if even one person...
Even one single person hears what I say, and it's like, wow, like, that feels so good to me, like that, because you know truth when you hear it.
Truth
like,
with a capital T.
Yeah,
like,
when you hear it, you know it. And if it's reaching one person, and they feel connected to my content, and they feel good when they listen to my voice and the guests that I have and stuff like that, like, that's all I need. That's all I need.
And like, realistically, I mean, you know, it doesn't matter, even like you said, if it's just us that we're affecting, or we're getting our heads more straighter and more alignment just by doing this, then that's enough as well. And like, you don't want to have that spiritual ego and be like, oh, like, you know, I do this because I'm right. It's because you've experienced something. That's what wisdom is. When you've experienced life in a way, and you figured out a tool that helped you get through that situation better, or even looking back on it, you can say, oh, I could have done this or this or this, and that would have probably been more in alignment for me. That's wisdom. That's truth with a capital T. That's like what we're talking about. So just because you got through life in that way and it helped you, there's going to be other people that could help and resonate with, because it's real life experience. It's not just some random piece of knowledge that you're taking and spitting back out.
I'm not coming on here and telling people this is fact, this is how you do it. You know, I'm saying, oh, this is how I experienced it. Maybe it resonates with you, maybe it doesn't.
Exactly.
Take what doesn't, you know, take
everything
what
with a grain of
does,
salt.
leave what doesn't.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not trying to make anybody think a certain way or do anything by what I'm saying, other than just share my experiences and help people feel like they're not alone in their experiences, and that if they do happen to come across something that I've already experienced, hope to God I can help them not make the same mistake that I did, and not go through the pain that I did, and think about the situation a little differently.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's all we can really do for each other as humans. Like, if you've been through things in life, you may have just a little bit more, like I said, wisdom about navigating. And so if we can share how to better navigate in a way that actually protects someone, like you said, from hurt or pain or regret or guilt or all of those things, it's like, that's actually the only thing that I ever want to do in life. Like, I feel like that's my purpose, is to like help shine a light and just be a light.
Or provide peace for anybody. Like, I mean, when you hear something that you know, like, resonates, you feel peace in your soul. Like, you feel good about hearing it and the reassurance. And sometimes you don't need like a correct answer. You just need to feel that you're not alone in your experience, that
Absolutely.
other people are going through this. You're not the only person in the world that's made that mistake or, you know, done something wrong or, you know, whatever it is. Like, you're not the only person. A lot of people have very similar experiences. They're just too afraid to speak about them.
Exactly. And people get so isolated and lonely, and it causes so much other turmoil in their life. I don't think people understand how powerful it is to just like get something off your chest, to try to even if you're not comfortable speaking about it for yourself from your experience. Like you said, people get scared and feel so alone. And so if, you know, they can just reach out to the internet and try to find something or someone that went through a similar experience, then they can start processing what they've been going through. Because some people just put it on the back burner for so long and are so afraid of it because they feel so isolated and scared of it, that those things manifest in your whole life. Like, it manifests in pain in your body. It can create disease. It can create, you know, turmoil in your relationships, in your relationship with yourself, in your relationship with your God. Like, when people are so afraid and feel so alone and scared to share something or can't find someone that they resonate with, it really does create so much like negative energy around you and in you and like all of these things. So I just think it is so important to have uncomfortable conversations and talk about things that you've been through, because once you get it out there, most of the time, the person that you're telling is gonna look at you like, oh, or like have empathy, or like, oh, I've been there, done that, or like whatever, you know, like either way, whether they can relate or they just have a straight face and are like, oh yeah, like
The fact that
it's
you
normal.
got that energy out of your body, it helps you. It doesn't, like, forgiving somebody or it's not about them. It's about you. It's about your growth. And I also feel like spirituality has become kind of commercialized, which is kind of upsetting sometimes. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm like searching for a sign online or whatever it is, and like a lot of the things that I see, like it's kind of shady a little bit. Like, you don't know what to believe, you don't know, but it's like, oh, maybe this resonates with me, but like then they're asking for you to join their thing at the end, and then you're like, wait a second.
Well,
but if you were just doing this for my benefit, like, wouldn't you think that like me being a part of your community is like enough? Why do I need to buy your thing? Why do I need to do this? And then it like puts you right back to square one, where you're like, wait a second, was any of the thing that they just said like real? And it's like, I feel like sometimes when I do feel so disconnected, I'm constantly looking for signs of something to try to make me feel connected, and then I find nothing that I'm connected, and then it's super weird. And I don't know if this is like psychological or energetic or what it is, but like it seems like as soon as you give up on what you want, it comes. And I don't know, like, is that the law of attachment? What does that actually mean? Like, is it all in your brain? Is it coincidence? Like, I don't really know what that is about, and I don't understand how to like detach yourself from an outcome when you care about the outcome. But then it's like, once it happens, it happens.
It's almost like when you're looking for like your keys, though. You know what I mean? Like when you lose something and you're looking so hard and you're like,
you can't find it.
Okay, I'm over it. Like, I'm just not gonna go.
And then you sit down on the couch and they like pop out from the freaking like pillow, and you're like, what the fuck? I looked at that pillow.
This just happened to me with my passport.
Oh, God,
I lost my passport in LA, and I thought I was gonna have to pay like $500 to expedite one, because obviously I don't know if I told you, but I'm going to Asia on like Sunday for my birthday. And so I just tried not to, because Shari obviously said she looked for it, but, you know, I just don't trust anybody looking for something.
Yeah, like, you're like, no, but I
have to look. Yeah. And I immediately, like, took apart the couch and, like, lifted it up, and it just, like, fell out. Like, it was, like, inside of the couch. Like, she said, I took apart the whole couch. I looked underneath it. Like, I swear I looked there. And it's, like, it's not that I don't believe you, but I think you were stressed because, you know, you didn't want me to have to pay for it, and you felt bad because it got lost at your house. And, like, when you have all these things going on in your head, you're stressed, you're looking so hard for something, you're not going to find it. And I honestly waited 2 whole days to look for it, because I was like, I don't want to feel stressed about it. I want to feel the right time.
I know it's like there, even though I've like searched whatever, and I'm like, you know what? I'm supposed to have it. it'll come. And then I find it in the most random place. I'm like, who put that there? Who did that?
But it's right when you stop being like worried or stressed or like.
And it's so hard to actually do it when you need to do
I know, that part's hard.
Like, it's so hard. I have not figured that out yet. And once I figure that out, I will be unstoppable.
Yeah.
That one, I will be unstoppable. Which also, like, ties into the next topic, which is peace before the outcome. It's like, what does peace look like? Why are we, like, we grow up in this environment, but we're always waiting for something. Like, can we actually truly be happy existing in right now without the relationship that we want, without the job that we want, without the money that we want, without the house that we want? Can we be happy? Is that possible? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah. And
that was so confusing to me. Sorry, like, that I was thinking about that so much last night when I came up with that question. I was like, holy shit. Like, can I actually be happy? Like, what does that look like?
Well, and it's always, people are always like, I'll be happy when. Like, when I get this job, when I get this money, like what you were saying. And I think what you also said earlier about writing down the things that you're grateful for every day and like all of these things, that's where you do find happiness, and it is in the present moment. And if you really bring yourself into the present moment anytime you're feeling overwhelmed or unhappy or confused or whatever, it's like if you really bring yourself into this moment, look around you, think of 3 things that you're grateful for. Like, you know, I'm sitting with a good friend, the air is cool, like we have air conditioning even though it's 100 degrees in Vegas.
We have a studio, which is crazy. Like, the fact that I even have access to film in a studio, like, people online like to say, oh, it's sterile or oh, whatever. I have a fucking studio. I don't give a fuck what you say. I'm able to film, and I have people that support me and are able to edit my content, and I have that opportunity. Like, I'm gonna take it. Like, I don't know what else you think I'm gonna do. Like, I have a studio, and I have a freaking table, and I have a chair to sit on, and I have an office to be in. Like, that's amazing in itself. Like, not a lot of people get that opportunity, and I have that opportunity.
Absolutely.
So, like,
and so I think, like, there are really not as many problems as in the present moment that people like to create. And so when you take time to just breathe with yourself, think about a couple things around you that you can actually be grateful for, then you're like, wait a minute. But why was I so out of peace? Why was I so out of balance? Because, like, I'm worried about what's going on tomorrow or yesterday or last week or, you know, what's coming up next and the big thing that I'm worried about or that I'm prepping for or whatever. It's like, yeah, that can get overwhelming and you can lose your peace when you're in those states of mind. But the moment you realize that, if you can find an opportunity to, like, bring yourself here right now, think of just a couple things to be grateful for, that's how you're happy now. Yes, will life look a little prettier maybe when you do have that financial gain or that job or whatever? Like, yeah, maybe life will be easier in the way that you're thinking that it's hard right now. But when you're there, there's going to be other things that are hard. And it doesn't matter. Like, you can climb and climb and climb and get all of the things that you want in this life. But every time you go higher to a different level of life, there's new problems and new things in that level that, like, you couldn't even see back then. So it's like you have to just, as much as you possibly can, you have to try to be present. And that's, you know, why meditation is important and why these things are important. But yeah, I think that's where you find peace in the present moment.
This small gratitude thing, even though I've only been doing it for 7 days, I feel like I've transformed in the last 7 days because I feel like because I've spent so much time, and these things that you write that you're grateful for, they can't be like little things. You have to really think about it. You have to be in like a state of like thinking about what am I grateful for. You can't write the same thing every day. It has to be different. And like the fact that I'm 7 days in and I'm nowhere near being done with things that I'm grateful for, and the things that I've come up with in my brain that I am grateful for, that I'm like, oh, I guess I didn't really think about that. I feel like I'm living in a state of gratitude. Like, I'm so grateful for everything that I have and everything that I've built for myself. And it might not, you know, it might be less than what some people have. It might be more than what some people have, but it's what I built for myself, and I'm grateful for it. And I think that because I've been so focused on being grateful, that I'm like happier about everything that happens. And like one of the manifestations I wrote was that like I'm more, not exactly what I wrote, but like about organization and not feeling like stressed, and that like, you know, I'm able to do things with such ease that like other people don't even understand how I do it, you know, because I'm so organized. And like this week hasn't been any less than other week. I have not felt stressed at all. I've been doing so much, but I've been like weirdly just more organized doing it and less stressed doing it, and I can't explain it. But like the other day I was like, oh, I did so much today. Like I got so many things done today. It's insane. But like, how did I not be able to get those things done last week? Like, how was I not able to do that? And like, I don't know, but something's working. Something's working.
I mean, if you're putting yourself in a state of gratitude and then telling yourself that one other thing that you want to improve on, you already are believing it, because you're already in a state of like, oh, this is true, this is true, this is true. The first 7 things are absolutely true, right?
Yeah.
Like the things that you're saying you're grateful for.
Yeah.
So that last thing, that's why it works. Like that's genuinely why it works, because you're already, first of all, in a state of gratitude, which is a very high frequency to ride on. Second of all, you're writing down a bunch of true things.
Yeah.
And then you just
true
want
things
this
that you think about, and you're putting energy into, okay, it can't be like one little line, oh, I'm grateful for my house. Like, no, like it has to be something real, something deep that you write. And also, so I had been doing this for like 3 or 4 days at this point, and I was at a friend's house this weekend, and our waiter randomly like came up to us. He's like, I don't know why, like I have to tell you this. And he's like, you've heard of the study, right, where they take like different water or different plants and they do the whole thing.
Yes.
And like the water, even if they just do it with water, like the water will go bad. The water will start to form mold. The water and the molecules.
And if you freeze it, it'll be like a pretty pattern. If you talk
or like,
to it
if
nicely,
you put
or
it
like
in like a microscope, it actually destroys the water the way you speak to it. And he's like, don't you realize your body's 98% water? If you just keep speaking to your body in a way, it'll react. Whether you want it to or not, whether you're conscious of it or not. And I had been doing this for 3 days, and I was like, that's so odd that this person just randomly felt compelled to come tell me this. And then the more that I'm telling, and I also, so in the 7 days, I also, every morning that I wake up, I do this, like, I listen to these affirmations, or like, oh, I'm gonna, be productive today. I am full of energy. I'm, little things, and it takes 10 minutes, and I do it every morning when I wake up, and I've done that. So I'm putting these affirmations into my brain, and then every night I'm going to bed in a state of gratitude. And like even in the 7 days, I seriously feel transformed. It's so weird to me that this random waiter was just super compelled to come tell me that, when I've heard it before. Yeah, I've heard that before, but for some reason it resonated different, because he's like, don't you realize you're 98% water? Like your molecules will react to the way you speak to it. You have to be more conscious about the way that you speak to yourself.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge problem with like a lot of people. Like I think a lot of people can resonate to like talking down to themselves in their head, or even out loud, or even to other people.
Yeah.
And I don't think people who are doing that realize the negative effects that it really does have on them, on their life, on the people around them, on what they are able and open to receiving in life, the opportunities, like everything. Like it really does have such a dramatic effect. Like how you speak to you, how you talk to you is so important. And like I make it a point when I'm like really praying or like distraught about something and I'm just like talking to God, I make it a point to like go look in the mirror, because like I'm talking to me.
Yeah,
like,
I have pictures of myself when I was little on my mirror that I see every day. And like in this specific picture, it's a terrible picture. I was 4 years old. I'm in raggedy clothes. My hair's chopped off in the sides because my stepmom chopped it off while I was sleeping. And I was being so abused at that point in my life. And I just needed somebody to like be there for me. I'm getting emotional, but like I look at that picture of me every day and I'm like, I am becoming the version that she needed. And like that's enough, Like I see that version of me every day and I look at her and I'm like, nobody's gonna fucking hurt you. Yeah. I got you. Like I did the work to make sure that you are a good person and you kept your light. I put that work in to keep,
and that's like
that
a
little girl.
Huge reminder to yourself every day, and something that helps you feel proud of who you're becoming every day. Because obviously, like there's a lot of people again who can resonate with that, who have horrible childhoods and who go through crazy things as a child, and like it is so important to become that person that you needed then. Like you have to prove to yourself that you're good with you and that you are everything that you needed someone to be for you. And it's really hard because it starts with forgiveness, first of all, for being in that situation, for being too young to be able to help yourself, and like, forgiveness for those people who hurt you. Yeah. And that's so hard.
Yeah, it's the people that hurt me were hurt people. hurt people unless they figure out how to bring themselves back to the light. And like that's also something that I'm like very much trying to get back, is like my child self and my silly self, and like trying to bring that version of me back that I didn't get the opportunity to have. I didn't have the opportunity to have a normal childhood and be silly and, you know, make mistakes without feeling stupid, or make mistakes like I had to be quiet, or I had to be, you know, I couldn't speak up about anything because I would cause a scene, or it would be something bigger. Any emotion that I had would turn into something bigger, and
everything was always your fault.
It was always my fault.
Yeah.
And it was like I, for a long time, felt that way. And like I feel like that's definitely brought me to a version where I feel like I'm definitely like a perfectionist, because when I get criticized, I feel back to that little version of me that was called stupid and wrong and many other bad things at like such a young age, where it's like now I see a little kid and it's like, how could anybody ever say or do those things to such a little sweet, like innocent child? Like I don't know.
And like you said, hurt people, and you have to imagine like if they have the ability to talk that way, like you said, like how you look at a child and you're like, oh my gosh, how could anyone ever do that? If they have the ability to do that, imagine how much they have like destroyed themselves.
It's going on in their brain. If they're talking to you that way, imagine the way they're talking to themselves in their freaking brains. And then that's the way that they present to you. But the way that someone presents to you, even if it's in a bad way, that's only the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah,
like you
people
only see that
showing
little
10%,
part of their darkness, and that's what you get.
Mm-hmm.
Like imagine what they're living in. So like even if someone's mean to you, like be kind. Like I speak to my stepmom now.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
And I'm around her, and she did way more awful things than that. But it's
crazy.
like I speak to her now because I'm able to see my little brother who's 13. And I would do anything to even speak to him sometimes, occasionally, just so he knows I'm in his life.
Yeah, because he needs that light,
yeah,
I'm sure.
He needs that light because I don't know what the fuck he's going through.
Exactly.
In that environment, because it's only him, you know? And I think that keeping the version of light you have, or even if you see one little spark, like don't let it die. Like change, like you hear yourself talking bad. No, stop it. Play some music, do something, get out of your head. Stop being in that state of, oh, you're so dumb. Why would you do that? How could you fuck up so bad? How could you do this to yourself? How could you do that to them? Whatever it is, like get out of your head when you're in that loop and you're just playing it and playing it and playing it. Play some music, sing a song, go outside, go talk to a friend, go call somebody, go watch a video,
you have
go
to be
do something,
self-aware.
get out of here.
Yeah, you have to notice and it's really hard to do. And you know, I don't think that we're implying at all that it's easy, but it is very important to do what you can to notice and try to be self-aware when you are flowing into those patterns of those negative loops, and how you're talking to yourself and how you're punishing yourself and how you're thinking about everything. It's like, you know, like you were saying about being the version for yourself of that little kid who didn't get to have that safety or have that love or be appreciated in the way that you deserve to be. Being that person now for yourself, and also holding hands with that child, and like you said, being silly now when you didn't get to be silly, and like doing the things that like you missed out on as a child, and like what is like fun and like open about being a child. And I think, you know, I resonate with that a lot in a very different way. I think I had to be very much a parent to my parents. And so I never really felt like I got to just be a kid and fuck off and make mistakes.
Yeah, and be silly. Like
yeah.
It feels so healing to like be silly with like friends and, you know, by yourself, like dancing in the kitchen, whatever it is, like little things that make you feel childlike and safe. And the fact that like now I feel like, oh, I can be silly and I don't really care what somebody else says about it because I know I'm being true to myself.
And finding friends that allow you that space.
Yeah, allow you to be absolutely retarded. Hard retarded. It's just like so fun to be in that environment. I feel like I have such good friends now, and I think that also comes with, you know, hiring not hiring anything, but like what am I willing to accept for me Because, like, I will not allow anybody in my life that would hurt me.
Yes, you set strong boundaries.
Yeah. Like, and it's not worth it. Like, I'd rather somebody think that I'm, like, tough or rude than get in and hurt me.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm also open at the same time, but I'm selective. But I do feel like I'm open, and I try to remain open, and, you know, whether that's relationships, love, friendships, like, because I've had bad experiences, I don't feel closed off. But I had to get through that, and it's hard, especially with, like, girls and friendships and stuff like that. I had a lot of bad experiences, whether that was, like, in high school, I was bullied a lot, and, like, I had friends where, like, I was friends with this, like, whole friend group, and I thought they were my friends, right? Like, I thought they were my friends, and I had my mom, like, drive me over to their house for a party. And as soon as I got there, they turned off all the lights and pretended that they weren't there. And I thought these people were my friends. And they just completely ignored me. I was calling them, and they didn't answer the door. They wouldn't open the door. And then the next day, nobody would talk to me. And
you don't even know what happened?
Never knew what happened. And I didn't do anything. And then I had no friends. All of a sudden, I had no friends. And I never knew what it was about. And, like, that wasn't the only time something like that happened to me. Like, I had a lot of instances like that where, like, there was people that I thought were my friends, and then they completely alienated me. And so, like, I had really bad experiences with friends. And, like, I didn't let that jade me, because now I have, like, such freaking amazing friends. Like, I have you. I have Olivia, who I see over there, who's, like, literally I've, like, had in my life forever. But, like, recently we've become, like, way closer again because we're living in the same town and, you know, working in the same company. But, like, I feel like I'm so grateful for my friendships that they're better because I'm so grateful for them.
Well, 100%. And also, it's like the first thing you said about boundaries. Like, you only experience what you allow. So, like, yeah, you had to get burned and go through horrible friendships because guess what? Your parents were awful to you. So your standards for, like...
We're not high.
Yeah, like your standards
were not high. I
high.
had to learn that for myself, that it's
Exactly.
like, okay, just because when you're a kid, you can't control what's around you. You can't control your environment. You know, you can't really control the relationships you have and stuff like that when you're under 18. It's something that's out of your control. That's in your family's control, and it's supposed to be their responsibility to protect you.
Yeah.
But then, once you get older and you get out of the house and stuff like that, it's up to you to try to figure out what your standards are, what you're okay with, what you're willing to accept, and who you want in your circle. You know, and the initial, like, time when you're setting the boundaries is so scary because you lose a lot of people and you're like, oh no, like, maybe I'm going to be alone, maybe I won't have friends, I don't know. Like, that initial time where you decide to make the change of, hey, I'm going to switch this up.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, you've changed, you're not the same. It's like, oh, I've changed because I'm not willing to let you put me down anymore.
Yeah, and
I'm
also
not willing
good.
to let you, like, push me around and stuff like that. Like, you're supposed to change.
I think it's so weird when people are like, oh, you've
changed.
It's like, good.
And you've stayed the same. That's more, like, that's more sad than me changing. Like, sorry. Like
I think if you're not changing and growing and learning in life and setting higher boundaries, and I mean, boundaries are the highest form of self-love. Like, you are really showing the world and God and yourself how much you love yourself by setting those boundaries. And that's why, at the end of the day, at first, obviously, it's scary. You do lose people. You do lose situations that, you know, you're just not going to put up with anymore. But once you prove that to yourself and you actually do cut those ties, make those moves, do those things for yourself, then you're attracting people on a level.
And then people start flowing in that you're like, wait a second, this is exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
But, like, once you start setting that boundary and you are kind of alone for that little time, it's like, it's the universe is shifting in your favor because you're evolving. And that's also, like, the last topic is, like, human conditioning versus your soul. Like, who would we be without our memories and our traumas? Like, who are we when we're just sitting silent with ourselves without our memories and without anything that makes us who we are? Who are we without the things that make us who we are?
We are everything.
Yeah, we're everything, and we're able to be whatever we want to be. We're able to change every day. We're able to evolve every day. We're able to decide to be different, or, you know, decide to go here, decide, like, we're free to do that. But I feel like so many things, like, why did I not like the color pink growing up? Why do I like the color pink now? Like, why, like, but then if you look back, like, there's certain memories where it's like, maybe there was, like, a pink clothing or a pink, you know, thing that you saw in a memory that made this happen, and then you didn't like it for those things. But, like, all these things are conditions versus like your soul is such a pure being, pure energy, and it's like that's what like comes from childhood, but like we get all these different
there's so many layers and conditions and like beliefs and standards and things that other people set, and you know, while you're growing up you don't even really know like you know what's right or wrong or anything. And I think, yeah, it is important. Like, you get to a certain age and you have to kind of unlearn a lot of things that you were taught and, like, reteach yourself how to think about certain things or how to respond in certain environments or who to hang out with or, you know, what path you want to take and how to respond to people and, like, how to have grace, honestly. Like, I think a lot of times when you go through those hard things as a child, it's so easy to get hardened. Like, your heart gets hardened by going through those hard things, and it's easy to just lash out, to match people's energy, to, you know, be on their frequency because they've brought you down to that point. And
discipline is hard. Rising above the occasion is hard. Choosing
Absolutely.
to not lash out at someone, choosing to not yell at someone when you feel like it. You feel at every part of your body, you feel so much anger. Like, anger is my worst emotion. I hate being angry.
Yeah.
Like,
I
feel like I almost want to punish myself when I get angry because I hate it so much, being angry. Like, it puts me in such like a frantic, like, just icky
Oh yeah, I'm
state.
such a bitch.
I hate being angry. I don't like getting there. Like, I also think you should surround yourself with people that don't allow you to get there.
Amen to that.
You should have friends that see that you're getting somewhere and choose to bring you back down instead of test your limits. Like, you should not be friends
I completely
or have
agree.
people in your life that like to test your limits.
Yeah.
You know, like, obviously some people, like, you know, whether it's in like work or, you know, certain family members you can't really control, but you can control your reaction. And if you don't yell back and if you don't get bigger, you get softer and quieter. Usually, like 99.9% of the time, they come back down because they're like, wait a second, I don't need to be in fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
Like, you're showing them that you're not a threat.
It's funny that we're talking about this because this was literally the message at church last week. So I just wanted to like share a couple of things that like I wrote down from church because it's literally exactly like what we're talking about. So it says like, release the need to get even. Don't become the thing you're fighting against. Someone's actions shouldn't dictate your response. Move beyond justice and into grace. Let God be in charge of justice. The heaviest weight you'll ever carry is a backpack full of grudges and offenses. And then it says, respond with unexpected grace. As followers of Jesus, we aren't called to do the bare minimum. We're called to stand apart. Anyone can match someone's energy. Jesus says, change the atmosphere.
It's
like literally what you just said.
Yeah, literally goosebumps.
It says the world is going to ask what's required of us, and Jesus will ask what's possible. And then, because we were talking about, the whole story began with him telling a story about how he learned the word op from his 12-year-old daughter, and like how it's her new thing now. Oh, Dad, we don't like this person. That's my op. And
what does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
Like your opposition. Like,
oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay.
And so he said it's like a kid lingo.
Kid slang,
know?
Yeah.
And it says, what if your op becomes your opportunity to respond with grace?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's exactly what you're talking about, you know? Like, it's easy and human and natural to just respond to someone on the level that they're coming to you. But it's actually godlike and, you know, more of a follower of Jesus, more of someone who is, you know, has it more together to just be graceful. And no matter what, like, it's not your, like you said, it's not your responsibility to provide someone justice. Like, provide grace.
You don't have to punish someone else. Like, you have no idea the difference it can make in someone's life by not yelling at them back, by not putting them down. Like, they're probably already putting themselves down. It teaches them something. Yeah, it teaches them something, and it teaches them that they don't have to be in a defensive state with everybody. Like, they don't have to be, I have to hurt you because you hurt me, and this cycle just kind of like never ends. But like, when you're graceful with someone, when you forgive someone, it's like, oh, maybe there is some good
people.
Maybe there are, you know, some good opportunities. Maybe there are people that genuinely don't have to hurt me.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing too, is like people get in those cycles of like being that being that person and dragging others down, and so then they just automatically expect someone to do the same thing to them. And like you said, when you do respond with grace and when you do act different and stand out, that's what it's saying. Like that's what that note was just saying. Like stand out. Don't be like everyone else. Be different. Be nicer. Be the change you want to see in the world. You know, like be that person.
Yeah,
so
and
it's
that's easier said than done, because like obviously you have the feelings that arise in your body where it's like you feel like, okay, I did this the other day. So Olivia was like, you gotta go to Walmart. They have great 4th of July bikinis. And I was like, okay, sold. So I went before I had a massage appointment. When I went to Rolfing, I went to Corey to go do Rolfing. And so I was like walking around, I found these cute little shorts. I found a cute bikini top. And I'm like, I'm like, I'm already late to my appointment, where I'm like, I lied to him and I was like, I slept and I'm late. Really, I'm in line at Walmart, right? I told him later. But I'm like, no, really, like I fell asleep and whatever. And so I'm like waiting in line at Walmart. I finally get to the checkout and I go to pay. They're like, we don't take tap pay. And I'm like,
they don't.
I was like, what? What do you mean you don't take tap pay? And I had nothing with me but my phone. So I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, can you hold this until tomorrow morning? Because I have to go right. It was like, it was like 7:30. So like they were closing in a couple hours. I was like, I can't come back. And they were like, we can hold it for an hour. I'm like, that doesn't help me. I'm like, can you please, like, can you hold it till tomorrow morning? Like hold it till like 9 a.m. And if I'm not here, just put it back. Like it's not that crazy to ask for. These were the only shorts left. I found these like, in like some random shit and like found them, and they were the only size. I'm like, these are the only shorts left. Like I really like them. They're like $8. I'm like, this is a freaking steal. And I was like, these are great. And so I'm like, can I talk to your manager? And she's like, I get to the manager and they were like, no, we can hold it for an hour. I'm like, why are you not being helpful? Like, why are you not helping me? You're supposed to help the customer. And I was like so mad. I was so mad at this freaking like Walmart employee. I'm like, you're supposed to like try to help me. Like, can you just do it until tomorrow? Like, it's not that much to ask. I was so mad. And I walked out, I was like, I was so mad. And I walked out, I called Olivia because I was like, just so mad. And I went and I got in my car and I screamed. I just screamed. Like, bloody murder scream. And I did it like 3 times, and then I started crying, and then I felt better. I was like, okay. Like I just had like so much anger, and then like later that night after I got home after my session, I was like, that's crazy. I was like, I was so upset at this freaking Walmart employee. But then like if you really look at it, am I mad at the Walmart employee, or am I upset that I wasted my time? I was late to my appointment and I changed my routine because I wanted to do this and it didn't work out, and now I'm blaming myself. Like, I'm not actually mad at the Walmart employee.
Yeah.
That's what they're told, that they can only hold it for an hour. Like that's what it is.
It's
like,
not.
I can't do anything about that. But like, I was so mad, and then I was so mad that I was mad. I was like so mad at myself for being mad, and then I was like judging myself for being mad, and I'm like driving over to this appointment, like crying and like screaming, and I'm like, I'm going to like get a massage. I'm like, I have to be zen. I have to be zen. And I was like, and I just lied to him, and now I have to tell him that I like lied to him, that I was really at Walmart, and I was like, and it was so dumb, but like, go scream in your car. It was amazing. Like, I felt so good.
I mean, at least you didn't scream that loud at the employee.
No. I don't like being mean to people like that, but like, I was
so
mad. I wanted to throw hands with this freaking Walmart employee, and then I just like walked out. I was like, ah! Like I was so mad. But like, I felt so powerful. I think there's something about like the vocal, like the way that it feels when you scream, like letting that energy out. That like, when do we really scream?
Oh yeah, people even say like cussing in moments, like that really does like release stress.
It does.
Like
and
when
so
you're
like, I screamed really, really loud 3 times that it was almost like violent. Like it was like violent. I was screaming in my car, like listening to music. It was violent.
Imagine your window's cracked and like, you don't know,
and someone's on the road and just like saw me just like scream crying, it was bad. But I was like, afterwards, I was like, I felt so good. And I also think that there was a lot of probably pent up energy that needed to get out. And that's why I was so upset.
You were probably mad about something that happened last week.
Yeah, I probably was. But like the fact that I was able to get it out, like I absolutely advise people to go in their car, play their music, go on the freaking freeway and scream.
Yeah.
Scream at your loudest. Nobody can hear you. You're getting it out. You don't have to explain it to anybody. You don't have to justify it to anybody. Go scream. And I think that, like, being in your car listening to music is better than like going on a mountaintop, because somebody can hear you on a mountaintop and you could accidentally startle somebody on a mountaintop and then like something could go wrong. But like if you're in your car just like driving, like, yeah, I think that's a really good thing. And like I want to end this on a note that's like being spiritual isn't about becoming like better. Sometimes spirituality is just about being part of the present moment, and you don't need to search for something better to feel better. Like you need to look more in what's going on and you're present than to just be waiting for something, waiting for a relationship, waiting for things. You existing in a state of waiting,
you're never really living.
You're never living, and you're never enjoying your time. You can't wait for happiness. You have to make it happen now. You have to make gratitude. You have to make things that you're happy about and focus on the things that you're happy about. And when you focus on the things that you're happy about, the bad things that come up feel more easier to deal with, because you're existing in a state of things are good. So then when things are bad, you're like, okay, but things are good.
And also I think it's about expectations too. Like, it's really good to expect the best. Like,
what's the best that could happen?
There's
what's
like
the best
pronoia
outcome?
Or paranoia. Didn't we talk about this before? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know pronoia.
So paranoia obviously is being worried about everything all the time. The opposite word of paranoia is pronoia.
I've never even heard that.
Expect the best all the time. Just expect the best outcome. Assume everything's going absolutely right. And when it doesn't, deal with it then. But up until that very moment where it's going to happen one way or another anyways, why expect the worst?
Like, why stress your body out? Because when you're like going over scenarios in your head of, oh, this argument's going to happen or this is going to happen, you're putting your body as if that's happening. You're putting your nervous system. You're creating that. Yeah, you're creating that feeling in your body, and then you're creating more of it because that's what you're focusing on. So it's like, yeah, what's the best that could happen? Wake up every morning, what's the best that could happen today?
Yeah.
How could miracles happen today? How could I get that raise today? How could I get that house? You know, how could I do these things? How could I do that? What's the best that could happen to me? Not, oh, you know, I have to see that person today and they're probably going to be mad at me and they're probably going to say these things or whatever. It's like, why are you worrying
setting yourself
about
up
something?
for failure?
Yeah.
You're literally setting yourself up for failure. And like, I think another thing too that I learned recently, I heard someone talking about, is just like, don't ever say like, oh, I have to do this. I'm gonna go do this. It's like, I get to do this. Yeah.
I get to wake up early to work out, to go to the gym. Not, I
have
to go to the gym. The fact that I have a gym, that I have access to a gym, even though I'm tired, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I'm really tired. Like yesterday I went to the gym. I was like, I don't want to be here. The whole time I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. And then at the end I was like, I'm so proud of myself. I was like, I did it the whole time. I didn't want to go. But like, you have the power. Your body doesn't have the power. Like, I don't know. I probably talked about this in another thing where it's like, stare at your hand. Open hand. Open hand. You can't open the fucking hand unless you open your hand. You have the power. Even if in your mind you're telling yourself, I don't want to do this, you can just force yourself to do it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to do it, you can just actually just get out of bed and fucking do it. Yeah. Like, you don't have to listen to your brain. And you don't have to listen to it.
You know,
no,
like discipline.
To do something. Yeah, discipline is the biggest form of self-love. You have to do it even if you don't want to. On the days you don't feel like it, days you don't have the energy, you just do it, and then you feel so much better. I'm like, okay, yeah, I did it, and I'm so proud of myself, and I can't believe I was like beating myself up all morning because like now I feel
and then
good.
Imagine the opposite too. It's like you don't do it, and then all day you're
and
like,
then all day
I
I'm like,
should have done
and
that.
I've done that enough times where I'm like, I knew that if I went back to bed and then just didn't get up, I was like, I'm going to make myself feel guilty about it all day when I know I could have just got out of bed. Yeah. I could have just got out of bed.
Oh my gosh, I'm a little more tired than I want to be. Yeah. Take an energy drink and move on. Take a nap after work. Like, what? I mean.
Well, and now I'll probably sleep better tonight, and that's the thing.
Exactly.
And then, like, the days that I don't do it, then I'm like, I'm up late, and I'm like, I bet you if I went to the gym this morning and got that energy out, I'd probably be asleep right now.
Yep.
I'd probably be asleep right now.
Yep.
So it's like having more grace with yourself and noticing the difference between who you are and who the world has conditioned you to be.
Yeah, I think, it's very important to not be attached to your ideas or what you identify with, because like you said, it's not really who we are when all of those things are gone anyways. We have this very pure spirit that's a piece of the entire universe, and it's very at peace. It's very, open. And the thing about life in general is there's always more to discover and there's always more to learn. So when you are really, really attached to a certain identity or a certain way of thinking or a certain, belief of anything, whatever, when you're super attached to that, you're actually limiting, you're actually putting a box on your spirituality. You're putting a box around yourself and a box around your potential. Because if you are open to learning something new and changing your mind, then the possibilities are endless for you. You can do anything. Even if you thought you couldn't do it your whole life, you can literally learn something that helps you change your mind, or you try something, or you find some tool that aids you in doing the thing, and you just never know what's possible. And as long as you keep that open mind and that detachment, detaching from all of these physical, material things, from all the beliefs, from all of that, then you really do have endless opportunities to do anything you want in this life. And it's there's no reason to hold yourself back and just put these limiting thoughts and beliefs and attach so hard to a certain identity, this is who I am, this is what's correct, this is exactly how I think. And it's well, I mean, you could also just learn something new that changes that. So why are you so sure? How is anyone so sure about anything? I don't know. I just feel you should never be 100%.
No.
This
something
is what
to think
it
about,
is.
and something I think to end on is who would you be? Who would you be? Who would you decide to be if you didn't have any of the conditioning to you? If you were just to wake up tomorrow morning and be a version of yourself without the pain and the trauma that you have, who would you choose to be? And why aren't you choosing to be that person every day?
Yeah, and what are those person's habits? What does that
What do
person
they look like?
think about?
Yeah.
How do they treat other people? How do they show up in the world?
Yeah.
And then, just focus on that. Think about that. Think about the person you really, really want to be, or someone in your life that you really look up to. And it's how do they spend their time?
Yeah, what do they do with their free time? How do they speak to themselves? How do they speak to others? Why do you look up to them? What qualities of that person makes you like them or make you want to listen to them? What is that, and why aren't you like that?
What's holding you back?
Yeah, what's holding you back to being that person? Because someone you look up to is just qualities that you want to have.
Exactly.
So be more open to change and having different ideas and different viewpoints. And just because you believe something doesn't mean you always have to believe that. You're allowed to change. And that's a big misconception, I think, is that because you've always believed something and you've stood by this thing and this is how you've acted, that's the way you have to continue to act. It's false. Whoever told you that is wrong. You are allowed to change, and you are allowed to grow, and you are allowed to be different, and you are allowed to wake up one day and decide that you want to be different. And whoever falls off is meant to fall off, and whoever stays is meant to stay, and whoever comes out of nowhere is meant to come. Things are supposed to shift, and that's a good thing. Shift is scary, but it's what's supposed to happen for growth.
Yeah, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Growth is not comfortable.
Be comfortable being uncomfortable. That's really hard. But yeah.
Growth is not comfortable. There's growing pains. That's life. When you're growing and changing and becoming, it's not going to be all roses and sunshine. There's going to be paths that you walk on that you're falling over every 5 steps. And it's why is this path so rocky? But it's just something you may have to go through.
Also something that just came up is things are hard so the devil doesn't tempt those who are already his.
Exactly.
Things are hard because you're being
tempted
because you are supposed to be growing.
Yeah.
Things are hard because you're not down here. You're not doing the same thing every day. The devil does not tempt those who are already his.
Exactly.
He doesn't test those. He doesn't need to test those who are already his. I know that's kind of similar, but that just popped up to my head when you said that, is things are hard because you're supposed to be growing, and growth is hard.
And resisting that temptation from the devil, it's that does make things harder, but at the same time proving to yourself that you're resisting that temptation, that is strengthening your relationship with God, that's strengthening your relationship with yourself, that's strengthening how you believe in yourself and what you know you can overcome. Like, the more you overcome those things, the more you're reaffirming that to you and proving that to you and your God.
And you can't claim you're a good person if you haven't overcome
exactly
negative things. Like, if you haven't overcome the temptation, you cannot claim,
yeah,
like, honestly, that you're a good person if you haven't seen the temptation and chosen to be good.
Exactly. You have to, like, prove it to yourself. And that's, like, it's such an important thing to go through. Like, you know, like, that's why we were talking about you have to fail and you have to fall over and you have to, you know, just find yourself in these bad situations sometimes, but how you overcome it is how you're proving to yourself how you show up in the world. So it's, like, so important.
Well, thank you so much for being on. I love you so much.
I love you.
And please stay tuned and give me a follow, subscribe, any
Comment,
of that
like,
lovely
share.
stuff. Comment, like, share. Really appreciate the support. So thank you.
Thanks for having me.